The first rule I broke was definitely like sleeping in the same room with Janik.
Ooh.
Absolutely.
Even abroad alone here. Like, even like...
I mean, I was living with him the whole time.
Yeah.
When I moved here, I was already dating Janik, and we both moved into the same apartment. But I remember I had to tell my grandpa still that, like, I'm living with more people. There's more people in the apartment. It's not just him and I.
Yeah.
But it was not true. It was
Yeah.
just like so my grandpa would sleep good at night.
Yeah. Howdy und Servus and hola for today. Welcome back to the Pod Abroad, where it's a show where I speak to my immigrant friends from around the world and get to share their stories. We are here in Munich, Germany. My name is Paulina de los Santos, and I am from Texas. I'm just a Tex-Mex kid from South Texas in the Rio Grande Valley. Rio Grande Valle. I don't want to sound too gentrified.
Grande Valley.
And I've been here now in Munich, Germany over 8 years. And yeah, I'm very, very happy here, but happy where I come from too. Today's episode is all about being Tex-Mex at heart, even with a German home, and keeping our heritage alive while living abroad. And we're discussing all about, our cultures, growing up between Mexico and Texas, seeing like things that were the same, things that were a little bit different, and stuff that shaped the people who we are today. So with me today is my good friend Joss.
Hello.
Woo woo. She grew up in San Luis Potosí in Mexico and moved to Germany for the same master's program as I.
That's how we met.
Yeah, shout out
SRM
which was Sustainable Resource Management. We studied at the Technical University of Munich, and that was back in 2016.
I don't even know, but it was a while ago.
Yeah. It was a while. So that's how we met. And she is married to a German man.
Yeah, a hamburger.
Yeah.
I married a hamburger.
Yeah. Janik's awesome. They're so cool. I have a million and one things to say about them. They have an iconic YouTube channel with her husband, Janik, where they share their travels, share a lot about their cultures and the similarities and differences between the two. And they have an incredible wedding videography and photography business. They have a shampoo bar business. Yeah. Like, this girl does it all. So yes. Joss, take it away. Maybe just like have a little intro of yourself.
Hi, I'm so excited. I've made it.
Yes.
I feel like I've made it. I'm officially in your podcast.
Yes.
And I'm back on YouTube after like a year of not posting.
We love it.
So
Joss
this is my
back.
Big debut.
Yeah.
Debut? I would say debut in Spanish.
No, you got it. Debut.
So yeah, that's me. I come from Mexico, San Luis Potosí. I met this beautiful lady like over 10 years now.
Oh my God.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
How have you dealt with me for that long?
I don't know, man. We were young.
Yes.
We still are young.
True.
That we are.
Young and dumb. But you were like 21 when I met you, I think, or so. Don't make any counts, but
freshly 21. Yeah.
True. Oh, then we know each other for less time.
Yeah, it's been 9 years, I think. Almost a decade.
Yes.
Ooh, when using that word decade.
I know.
Sounds
that makes
so
it
serious.
Real.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm so excited to be here. Obviously, as you can tell by my accent, I'm not American. I don't speak... Like, English is not my native language, although it's the language that I speak the most nowadays with my husband, who is also not a native English speaker. So we both make the same mistakes now. We just don't correct each other.
I love it.
And every time I speak to a native speaker, I feel pressure of like, what am I pronouncing wrong?
Really?
Yes. So it gets worse. So this podcast might suck.
I know. But like, fake it till you make it, because girl, like, I would have never known.
Really?
I would have never known.
I get nervous in front of native speakers still after so many years.
No, you kill it. I would have never known.
I correct myself way more because I know, Janik, if I make a mistake, I know that he won't catch it. So I just continue talking and I don't care.
Well, I love that you mentioned that, because today we're also going to talk about accents and languages.
Okay.
That's one of the parts.
I'm getting ahead of it.
Yeah, no.
I'm
all
very
good.
excited to be here.
All good. Yeah, I'm very happy to have you and to have these conversations and kind of dive into it.
This episode is going to be more than an hour.
Let's see.
Paulina already told me it has to be an hour.
I was like, girl, we're setting it to an hour.
We can talk for like 6 hours in a row.
We can.
So that's a dangerous territory.
We can. That's why today I kind of chose like one general theme about our childhoods and like maintaining our heritage while abroad, because girl, like I know we could drift into the abyss.
We could record like 10 episodes
that we could
today.
So when you're back, I'm ready.
Yes, I'm so down.
Yeah.
It was so nice meeting you in SRM because I came from Mexico, and then I had so many things in common with you, even though you didn't grow up in Mexico, but you come from Mexican parents.
Yes.
So it was, I don't know, we had so much in common. So I think it's going to be interesting to see.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. So why should you listen to this episode? We're swapping childhood stories. We're going to talk about food, about some rules, like strict rules that we might have grown up with, holiday differences, and showing how we keep our roots while living in Germany. So we're talking about family, school as well, kind of then and now, languages and accents, holidays and superstitions, kind of a little bit.
It's gonna be 10 hours.
Yeah, no, we're gonna keep it brief.
Knowing us.
And then finally, kind of what we can do to maintain that culture at the end of the day, after all these years of not living like full time in our home countries.
Yes.
Yes. Good. So first off, wanted to say that I gave you a shout out on your shampoo bar company. Love that, dude. They have good stuff. So, Natol, and that's what I wanted to start with.
Okay.
So Natol is a German phrase, right? What does it mean in German for everybody? And what is your favorite Mexican equivalent? Like Spanish.
Okay. Like phrase.
Yeah. Like,
so Natol is the first thing that I kind of learned to say in German when I was hanging out with Janik all the time here.
Yeah.
And he constantly says, Natol, because Germans are known to complain a lot.
Yeah.
So Natol means great. But they say it in a sarcastic way. When something doesn't go your way, you just say, oh, Natol, like, oh, great, this again. It's basically like this again.
Yeah.
So since I started saying it so often, on our YouTube channel, we started saying it also very often, and people were constantly asking, like with no context.
Yeah.
People were like, what the hell is Natol? Why are you saying it? Because our channel is in English, and we're still saying that in German. So it became like an iconic thing for us to say, and that's why we named our shampoo bar brand Natol. So it was a little bit like
cheeky.
Yeah, like our branding, you know? And in Spanish, I would say, chingao.
Yeah.
I don't know if I can swear in this podcast.
Of course you can.
Anyway. Okay.
Girl, you're welcome to.
Fuck shit.
This isn't for children, so.
Okay, yes. It's like chingao. Like, chingao.
Yeah. So like translate chingao for everyone.
Chingao is a word that can be used for a lot of things. But in this context, the same thing. It would be like, oh.
Like, oh, shit.
Like, oh, shit. Yeah.
Oh, shit.
Like, oh, shit. Yeah, I guess that's what I would say.
Yeah. No, I love that.
It's one of my favorite phrases in German to this day.
Yeah.
Natol.
No, cute. Just wanted to set the scene with like a little difference in like German sayings and sayings in Mexico. Because also I know like Spanish is so different, like depending on, where you come from.
Yes.
So many different words and phrases. Like,
yes. Actually, chingao comes from, the main word is I don't even know what the main word is, but there's so many variations of chingao. Like chingon, chingadera, chinga, chingar, chingado, chingada.
I love
chingao. It's a different thing. So in Mexico, there's even a book called Chingonario.
Really?
Yes. So it's like a dictionary that's only chingon variations.
I love that.
Because you can use it for 1,000 things. And also in Mexico, we use the word fart for 1,000 things too. Pedo.
True, puro pedo.
It's puro pedo, vámonos de peda, ando bien pedo.
Wait, we have to give context for the non-Spanish speakers.
And also for the non-Mexicans, because I think for the rest of Latin America, for all the pollinizers that you're following, Paulina?
Paulina. No, I don't know.
Pollinizers.
They haven't gotten the pot of brothers.
That's
bad. That's really bad.
Abroaders? Pollinizers.
I don't know. Anyway, for everyone listening right now.
For all the abroaders. Okay, for all the listeners, what was I saying? For all the listeners that are from Latin America, yes, the Latin Americans, I don't think you guys are that used to the pedo word as Mexicans are.
Using fart.
But we don't even think about farts when we're saying that word.
No.
Because we say, ¿qué pedo? It's like, what's up? what fart?
What
What's
fart?
up? Or I'm very fart means I'm very drunk. Ando bien pedo. Estoy bien pedo.
I love it. But it's a similar way, like in English, that like when I'm like, oh, bullshit, I'm not thinking like of the shit from a bull, right? Like
Yes.
it just has a whole new meaning.
Yes.
Like different. Yeah.
So we always say pedo and we say chingao in the same way, like 1,000 different
I love it.
meanings.
I love it. I want to jump into a segment speaking about family life and different roles that you might have grown up with.
Oh.
And kick it off by asking if you could paint a picture for us of like a normal weeknight dinner growing up in San Luis Potosí.
When I was a kid or
Yeah.
when I was a teenager?
Like when you were 8.
When I
That's
was
very specific
8.
now. I'm like,
Okay,
let's
so
like,
I grew up in a place that was not by any means a city. San Luis Potosí is a city, but I lived in a place that's nearby, like 20 minutes by car. It's a municipality. The name is Soledad de Graciano Sanchez. If you're from San Luis Potosí, you probably know it, but
that's a mouthful.
Anybody else know? Yeah, Soledad de Graciano Sanchez. And my parents are both dentists, and they both worked in my house, basically. On top of the garage, they built their small praxis, their small consultorio. And that's where they were working. So I was always in the house, and I was always yelling on the window like, Mama, can you bring me a chocolate Kinder, un huevito Kinder?
Oh.
That's the Kinder Überraschung in Germany.
Like the Kinder egg.
Kinder eggs. Do you also have them in the US?
Yes.
Yes, but I was like, un
so.
huevito Kinder. And all they have their, how do you say? Do you see how my English fails me when I'm speaking
girl.
to
No, don't be so hard on yourself.
how do you call those? Customers, clients?
Yeah.
No. But when you're going to a dentist, you are a patient.
Patient. True.
They have the patients there, and I'm yelling, un huevito Kinder, por favor, mamá.
Yeah.
So I was always home. I went to school in San Luis Potosí, which was like 20 to 30 minutes away. So I was never really going out or anything. I was just at home doing homework, stuff like that. And we lived like half a block away from the main plaza of the municipality. And sometimes they had like fests or small ceremonies or things like that. So at night, it could be that we went there, we hung out there and had fresas con crema or espiropapas, which they also exist in Germany.
They do. So fresas con crema is like strawberries with cream.
Yes.
That's delicious. And then the espiropapa, we also have that in South Texas. Yes.
It's so delicious.
So yummy. It's like a street food. Like we normally have them at our rodeos, though. That's the difference.
Okay.
Or like different festivals too, where they get a potato and they spiralize it on a stick and then deep fry it. And then right when it's hot and crispy, they put like the good seasoning salt. Love it.
In Mexico, we would put ketchup and we would put sometimes lemon. No, most of the times lemon and sometimes ketchup.
Love it.
It was awesome. I miss it every day.
Nice.
And I actually go very often now. Like when I'm in Mexico, I often go to Soledad.
Yeah.
Because that's where I have the workshop for Natol. For my shampoo bars.
Love that.
So it's very nice to go back there and see all the people. Since it was like a small town, we knew everybody from different businesses around the house. So like Don Victor or people like that. Now I see, and they're very old and like they still remember me, but as a little kid that grew up there. And it's nice to go there. I always feel like a little warm in my heart when I go back.
It's the power of community, right?
Yes.
Is like really knowing each other and remembering. I think that's something so beautiful.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Yeah, I love that. You mentioned your parents, right? And because I know you, I know that your parents, they were pretty strict when you were growing up. At what point did you realize that strict for you meant something different versus like German parents? Because like German parents are like, oh, my parents are strict. And it's like, no,
they're not.
No.
But at the same time, my parents, like, even though they're very strict compared to other German parents, they were not as strict as other parents that I saw from other friends of mine.
Ooh.
So that's crazy. My parents they were strict growing up. They always told me the only responsibility you have is to have good grades and like be a good kid.
Yeah.
But they didn't really ask much more from me. But I took that very seriously, so I was under a lot of stress that I put on myself. Like I need to get good grades, and I got good grades back then. But just like in any other San Luis Potosí household. Like I said, I cannot generalize with entire Mexico.
Yeah.
But if you have a boyfriend, you're not allowed to stay over at their house at all. Like I still find that a little weird. I gotta say myself that like 15-year-olds get to stay over.
No, that's wild to me.
Right?
Here, yeah.
I don't know what I
They're
would
so
do
liberal, and they're like, "Here's a condom. Like, take care."
Yes. So the first time I noticed
What?
that was the first time I came to Germany and I met Janik's parents.
Yeah.
And we were already a couple.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember, I'm gonna air all his business, but whatever.
You're like, whatever, fuck it.
We were at their house, and I think they were downstairs, and I went upstairs to shower.
Mm-hmm.
And Janik's mom asked him, "In Mexico, are couples not showering together?
Oh.
Like, why are you guys not showering together?"
Oh.
She found that a little weird.
Oh, she's like, do you not care for one another?
No, yeah, like, why don't you shower together? Like, she just found it a little weird.
You're showering alone, really?
Weirdo. No, she wasn't really judging it, but she was very curious about that, you know? And I was like, when Janik told me that, I was like, I would never. Like, I feel like I'm trying to be a good girl. Like, you just don't do that in Mexico.
Absolutely.
You don't even overstay your welcome like in the house of your boyfriend. You don't stay too late. My parents were kind of chill with that. Like, they still let my boyfriend come over to the house and stay until like 1 a.m. watching movies, and then he would go home. Yeah. But, for example, other people that I know, they were not even allowed to be alone in the house watching a movie, even if it was daylight. Like, somebody had to be there.
Like a chaperone.
Yes, and they were already like 18.
Yeah.
19 or so.
Yeah.
So it's a very different world.
Yeah. The first time that Tim came to Texas, he had to sleep in a separate room.
Janik too. Janik had to sleep in a separate room for years. For years.
That's also true.
Even after we already lived together in Munich.
Oh my gosh.
Every time we went to visit in Mexico, we had to sleep in the separate rooms. Yeah. I slept with my sister sharing a bed. Yeah. And Janik slept in my room alone.
That's crazy. But
or if we would travel with my parents. Yeah. It was my sister, me, and my parents in one room, and Janik alone in another room.
VIP treatment. You're like, why does he get his whole room?
Yes. It was very hard for him to understand at the beginning. He's like, this is so against love, you know? But I was like, it's just how it is. Yeah. It's not. They're trying to be open. They're even open. Yeah. By letting you come on the trip with us, by letting you stay in the house. I know of other couples where the guy or the girl, whoever comes visit Mexico, has to stay in a different house.
Oh my gosh.
Or in a hotel room or something like that, because they're not allowed to stay in the same house as the couple.
Oof. Lucky for me, like, when Tim came, like, that was actually like my grandpa, who's like in his 90s. Like, that was his wish. My parents are a little bit more, lenient. Yes, more relaxed. My dad was like, oh, like, your grandpa, like you guys aren't married. Like, your grandpa would be very disappointed. So therefore,
or was he like blaming it on your grandpa? He was like,
maybe
your grandpa would be disappointed.
He's like, I'm cool. I'm chill. It's all your grandpa. Who knows? Yeah. No, now like he's like, your grandpa goes to sleep at 9 p.m. Like, he won't see you.
Yes. But we were talking about that the other day. Like, it's so nice that here they're open with that, because there's actually less unwanted teenage pregnancies.
Yes,
like,
I'm sure
people are way more educated about the topics because they're not so taboo.
Absolutely. Yeah, true. We were saying how, like, when you're a kid and like you're told don't do this, you're like, oh, hell yeah, I'm doing it. Like, completely going against it. Yes. On that note, I wanted to ask you, when you moved abroad to Germany, what was the first rule that you broke, that like you had grown up, like that your parents had instilled?
Oh God, my parents are gonna. I hope they don't watch this episode. No, the first rule I broke was definitely like sleeping in the same room with Janik. Ooh, absolutely.
Even abroad alone, here, like even like.
I mean, I was living with him the whole time.
Yeah.
When I moved here, I was already dating Janik, and we both moved into the same apartment. But I remember I had to tell my grandpa still that, like, I'm living with more people. There's more people in the apartment. It's not just him and I. Yeah. But it was not true. It was just like, so my grandpa would sleep good at night.
Yeah. I mean, Joss's parents, if you're watching this, like, they got married.
Yes, everything worked out.
Everything. He was the one. He was the one.
Yes. Yes, that's definitely the main rule I broke, I feel. Yeah. Other than that, I don't think I had many rules at home. Quite honestly, my parents were strict, but they didn't really have to say much for me to be a good kid. You know, I knew what was good and what was bad, and they just always trusted me to do the good thing. Yeah. And if I ever did something a little sketchy as a teenager, they didn't really school me. Like, they didn't put me in a timeout or took my phone for 6 months or anything like that.
It was just disappointment.
Like, I knew I disappointed them. They didn't believe in, like, yelling at me or being rude to me like that, which was very nice. I still, like, I think that's awesome. But, yeah, like, they didn't really... They let me do my thing, trusting that I would do good. Yeah. And I think I've done well.
And when you foster that environment, then, like, yeah, it's more chill in a sense that, like, you don't want to have to break the rules because, like, you're... Yeah.
Yes, actually, with the rule about being in the same apartment with Janik and sleeping in the same bedroom, that was mostly the problem.
Yeah.
Because my parents were happy that I was living in the same apartment with Janik because they knew if something happens, there's somebody there that's going to take me to the hospital or that's, like, taking care of me, no?
Yeah.
But sleeping in the same room was a tough one. We had 2 bedrooms in our apartment, so one was mine and one was his. But very quickly, the one that was his became, like, ours. We made it our little home, no? And... one day, I actually called my mom. Like, I had a breakdown, y'all, big time, because I don't remember what happened, but I think Janik's family said something like, we're so glad that you guys are like, living together and that you're so happy together and that you're just sharing life together, no? And the same week, I think my parents, somebody made a comment that was kind of the opposite, like...
You're living in sin.
Kind of. Not really like that. No, they never talk like that, but... It made me think that they were thinking like that a little bit, like, we're a little uncomfortable with your living situation, you know? So I had a breakdown. I cried and I told Janik, I was crying, I remember, in the living room. And I told him, like, I can't believe how your parents are so happy that I'm happy, but my parents are more worried about what other people are going to think about their child. Yeah. Like, being with her
different
boyfriend.
Culture,
you know? Because it's mostly about... What is your aunt gonna say? What is this other person gonna say?
Reputation. In
your reputation, right?
Yeah.
Especially in a small town, exactly. Oh, yeah. So I told Janik, I wish they would prioritize my happiness over other people's thoughts or beliefs. Yeah. And Janik told me, why don't you call your mom and tell her exactly what you just told me?
That's so German. They're like, why don't you just pick up the phone and tell them?
Yes, and we're not
You're
direct
like, it's not
people.
that simple. It's not that simple.
We don't like confrontation. At least not in my family. I don't know other Mexicans. So I called my mom and I cried my eyes out. Like, the moment she picked up, I was like, Mama? And she was worried. She was like, are you okay? Yeah, like, what happened? And I told her, I just feel very bad. And everything I told to Janik, what I just told you, like, I wish you guys would be happy, like, just wanting my happiness more than what other people are going to say. Yeah. And surprisingly, like, it was so honest and she heard me, like, having a tough time with it, that she responded very well to it. You know, she said, like, we're not dumb. They probably already knew that we were living together for like a year and a half now at that point. But they just were trying to not put it away from their minds now. Yeah. But she was very nice and they were very open and, like, accepting of it. And I talked to my mom. I never talked to my dad about this, but she told me, I'm going to talk to your dad about it now. And, like, also my dad wasn't dumb either. And they really liked Janik too, which helped a lot. And after that, I told her, like, I just want to tell you the truth because I don't want to be having to lie to you since I want to be close to you. Every time I lie to you, I feel like it's pulling us away from each other, which is very real with Mexican families. And people have to lie a lot because of these taboo topics. So I was like, every time I talk to you, I feel further away from you and I want to feel closer. Yeah. And that, I think, clicked something in their brains of like, that's right. Why the hell are we caring about what other people think? We should care about, like, connecting with our daughter and having her trust us enough to tell us these things. Yeah. And after that, they were pretty chill. Like, everything kind of changed. I also felt like a weight off my shoulders because I've been lying for like a year and a half now. Yeah. And now I can share more things with them and stuff. It was cool.
That's so beautiful. And I remember the day that, like, I remember you texted me, like, after a year and a half, like, so let me backtrack. You and Janik had lived together in Germany. Yeah. You moved back to Mexico for a bit. And then you said for a year and a half, living at your home there in Mexico in different rooms. And I remember you telling me one day, like, dude, like, it happened.
I told
like,
my mom.
My mom, like, let me. Like the day that, like, you guys weren't married yet, but, like, your parents, after 1.5 years of being back in Mexico, were like, you know what? You guys can sleep in the same room.
Yes. And it was because of COVID. because they felt bad for us because we had to quarantine.
Yeah.
And that was their excuse too. That was probably helped them too to make this decision.
The justification.
Yes.
Yeah, it helped.
And they were like, we were in separate rooms. So they were like, if you guys are like, they saw so lonely or whatever. They were like, you can sleep in the same room if you want to. And now they bought a bed for us.
Oh.
Like we had a smaller bed.
Well, because y'all are married.
Yeah. No, but I don't know if it was before we were married. No, we were probably already married, actually. Yeah, now they want babies. It's crazy how it changes in an instant in Mexico. They're like, you're not allowed to sleep together. The moment you have a ring on that finger after you got married, they're like, babies, get to work.
Like, it's just like polar opposite.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Reactions. Crazy.
And with your parents, then it was pretty chilled.
It was. Granted, like, I mean, I didn't have any, like, I mean, I didn't push limits or anything. Like, I would say, like, I was a similar child as you. Like, I was very intrinsically motivated. My parents, like, or my mom did not need to push me to do anything. Right? I was so intense on myself, like, literally just from within, that also I remember, like, once breaking the rules. Like, my mom told me I couldn't get my belly button pierced. And she was out of town with my brother. And I do shout out Osmara if she's ever watching this.
You bad person.
Yeah, my friend, my high school friend Osmara, and I went, like, during class, I think. I don't know, someone had a car and she took me to, like, this dude in a garage.
Sketchy.
Yeah. To pierce my belly button. And I think I was like 15. And it was just as sketchy as it sounds.
Yes.
And so I go home, whatever, like an hour. Yeah, I had the belly button piercing. I go home and I immediately call my mom crying. Crying. I'm so sorry.
Oh no.
Oh my gosh, I did something like that you didn't want me to do, and I did it anyway. I literally, like, because I was also that kind of character that I felt horrible.
Yes.
And I was just like, I'm so sorry, and she hit me with that. I'm not mad, I'm just disappointed.
Oh, that hurts even more.
And I was just like, I'm so sorry. I still have that belly button piercing to this day.
Yes.
I find it so hilarious because every time I think about that, like, childhood and, like, breaking the rules, because, like, I normally, like, followed everything.
Yes.
But I really wanted it, and she said no. And then I went, like, a really sketchy route. If she would have said yes, I would have gotten it, like, at a legitimate business.
Place, right? It's better to be, like, honest, to give your children the space to be honest to you so that you can, like, they're not going to a motel instead of somebody else's house, because in Mexico, love motels are a thing.
Ooh.
Too, because...
Oh, wow.
Do you know that? Do you have that in Texas too?
Not that I know. For, like, young people also?
Yes, it's mostly young people are the customers. And they're, like, bougie. They're, like, very cool looking motels. And also some sketchy ones, obviously. Yeah. But that you pay for, like, 3 hours or something. I don't know. They pay per hour.
Yeah.
And a lot of teenagers, because they don't have anywhere to bang, they go to motels, like sketchy motels. Yeah. That's also kind of risky.
Yeah, for sure.
But at the same time, I don't know if I would let my 15-year-old stay over at his girlfriend's house.
So then you're like, you would send your 15-year-old to, like, indirectly send them to a motel? No, I think you'd be the cool mom that's like, I'm going to go to the movies.
Yeah. I would.
You wouldn't be, like, hanging out in the house.
I'll be like my parents. Like, I know the truth, but I want you to lie to me.
Ooh.
For a little bit.
Yeah. Oh, like, maintain your innocence.
Yeah. No, but part of me knows that that's, like, a struggle, because I know it's more logical to, like, give them the space to be honest with you. Yeah. But at the same time, there's things that are so ingrained in my culture and, like, in the way I grew up that I don't know how I would react if I was my parents. You know?
No, I feel that.
Also, if you compare, I don't know if this happens to you, if you compare how your parents grew up.
Oh, man.
And how they were to you, they had a great, like, they actually were very far away from what their parents raised them,
they've made strides already.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Like, generationally, right? Yes. Like, from one level to the next. When I think about how, like, my mom wasn't that strict, but her mom was, like, incredibly strict. Like, my mom's one of 7 children, so, like, my grandma had the whip. Like, really, like, making sure that her kids were in line and, like, not making trouble. Yes. But just, like, unnecessarily, like, strict in some ways. And so my mom had, like, worked on that.
And when I tell you, like, my parents are strict, but if you think how they grew up, like, it was a struggle to go to the cinema for them. Yeah. Right? And now my parents are letting my boyfriend stay until 1 a.m. watching movies in the house. That's like a big difference already.
Absolutely.
So I wonder how our kids are going to be.
Yeah.
That becomes
Life's about perspective. But just like you were saying, like yesterday we were talking and you were saying like Gen Z in general, like we noticed Gen Z is like pushing the limits. They love to like push the limits, like whether
and they're confident.
Like within like the workforce or like within family dynamics and like things like that. They're very confident and they love to push kind of the limit.
And don't you think we are like scary cats?
Yes, for sure.
I am a people pleaser. And I feel like Gen Zers are not people pleasers.
They're like
at
very
all.
bold, right? And like they just like, and like, I mean, sometimes a little too bold. It's just like you're asking for what? So exactly. So like it's gonna be interesting to see like what the next generation of like parents, like how they'll act and what will become of society. And I want to move now into school life and talk all about you growing up in Mexico. Can you walk me through then like what school looked like for you, like public school or was it private school?
Private
okay.
school.
Ooh. So see, interesting. Girl, I went to West Loco High, Central Middle School, public.
Yes.
Public.
Public.
Yeah.
You know, for us private school kids,
yeah,
it was always, if we were misbehaving, they were like, we're gonna change you and we're gonna sign you up for public school.
No.
And that was like, not public school. We didn't even know how public school looked, but we were like imagining
not the
dungeon.
public school. Like, oh, interesting. Girl, how did I not know that you grew up, like, you went to a private school? You know, there's a joke, like, saying, like, if you see, like, a perfect avocado or whatever, and it's like, oh, like, it went to private school. Like, or, like, a perfect, I don't know, like, piece of fruit. Like, it must have gone to private school.
Private school. Well, I went to private school.
Yeah. Tell me about it.
Myself. It was a religious school. I think that was mainly the reason. Well, no, actually, my parents were always they were not rich, but they were like, how do you call the society that is in the middle?
Middle class.
Like
solid middle class.
But back then, they were always prioritizing our education.
Yeah.
So even though we lived in Soledad, which was like a smaller town, which is definitely cheaper than other places and stuff, they were driving 20 minutes to bring us to private school in San Luis Potosí, to like a school that had a good educational level. They were bringing us to English classes at the age of 3.
Wow.
On Saturdays, like private extra curricular English classes on Saturdays.
Shout out to Joss's parents.
Yes, they were putting like their money. They were not using it for vacations. We were not really going on vacations or anything like that.
Yeah.
But it was like the education of their kids.
Yeah.
So I went to nun school. Like it was run by nuns.
Wow.
And it was, if anybody is from Mexico and you guys have been in the Jean Cesar de Mattel schools. So it was like this nun. I don't even know. Sor Juana Inés de la Cruz. Do you?
I have no idea. I have no idea about these schools.
That was the stupidest thing I could have said. If you were Mexican, you would be laughing.
I don't know. Like, I can't relate. Tell me about this school.
It was Jean Cesar de Mattel, okay? So this person, we're like praying to her and we're like praising her, right? It's from the Catholic school. And we were always singing like, Somos hijos de Jean Cesar de Mattel. And then we had a song like, Y decimos Dios en inglés, decimos María en francés. You know, like, we were trying to sing cool songs like that. We had English classes too. And it was an interesting school to be a part of. It was mostly girls. It used to be only girls. And then my generation was the first generation that allowed guys into the school.
Oh, wow.
So it was like maybe 40 girls in one classroom and like 2 guys.
Oh, wow.
So that must have been tough for them. And then
heaven. What do you mean tough? Maybe like...
I don't think it was heaven.
You're a little problematic.
Yeah. And we were also not the best looking girls in the town. Actually, the last years from primary school, girls had crushes on like the 3 guys that were there.
Oh, man.
So they were kind of harassed. Not harassed, but like there's always girls being like, hi, how are you? And they didn't want that attention at the moment. It didn't look like it, at least. And then I moved to high school, to a different school, also Catholic, run by men, the Maristas, from Marcelino Champagnat. That's the name. Now it's not the other woman, but it's this guy. And we were always praying every Monday. We had uniforms. Do you have uniforms in Texas?
We did, in elementary and middle school.
Isn't that wild how in Germany they don't have uniforms?
I know. That was one of my questions. I was going to ask, like, did you wear a uniform?
Yes, I did.
What was yours?
So Mondays, for high school, Mondays was a skirt that I like to make a mini skirt because I was cool like that.
Of course.
Long socks.
Oh.
This color kind of.
Yeah.
Like darker. This color.
Yeah, like a navy.
Yes, navy socks, black shoes, and a button-up shirt with a blazer.
So very
And that's it.
preppy.
Yes.
Sounds like it. Ours was really boring. It was always like khaki pants. Like you could wear like khaki pants or shorts.
Oh god.
And,
You didn't have skirts?
but the shorts had to be to the knee. And a polo.
I want to see a photo
Like-
so bad.
I'll find you a photo. And then we would wear polos. And it had to either be like, depending on what year you were in middle school, it was like red, white, or navy.
Okay.
And so we had this. Like the purpose of our uniforms, actually, because it was public school. I come from a very low income region, and they were trying to make it, to lessen the burden on parents to like have a whole wardrobe for their child.
Yes.
So I think that's like the concept behind the reason why we wore uniforms at a public school. But in the end, oh my gosh, I remember being like a little bitch in middle school. I'm sorry, mom. And being like, I want an Abercrombie polo because everyone has a little moose. Like I wanted the moose. And like, so like there was always ways to like distinguish yourself, of course. Like, and
So it was not a polo from the uniform. Like
no,
it wasn't.
it should have been, right?
Yes.
Like
we had
if-
polos too, but for Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays, it was a polo. Mondays was like blue, Tuesdays white, and Thursdays gray or something.
No, I mean, like, one could get a simple one from, like, Walmart or Target back then, but, like, all the cool bitches, like, they wanted to wear, like,
cool ones.
American Eagle or, like,
Super tight ones.
Hollister or Abercrombie because you'd have, like, the fat logo. And that was just, like, so sad. And, like, when I think about it, I'm like, that comes down to, like,
Wanting to fit in.
reputation, wanting to fit in. And, like, this was the time of, like, when we wore, like, Hollister t-shirts like outside of school, like H-Co, we like walking billboards.
Yes.
And like that was like the hottest thing.
The Von Dutch era.
Oh yeah.
That's
And like
okay.
Ed Hardy. Thank God I never got into that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was like my uniform.
And it
but-
was every day the same.
Yeah.
For us, it was the first one was the Mondays and the polos with jeans.
Yeah.
And the Fridays, it would go wild because it was free day.
Ooh. Our Fridays were a little different too.
Yes, and you would see like every type of
Yeah.
outfit. People were like dressed to impress. It's
Aw.
Friday. Yeah, it was
Cute.
cool. It was fun.
We wore jeans on Friday. We were allowed to wear jeans. If we could wear like, if you wore a Spirit t-shirt, which was like a purple t-shirt because we were the Panthers, or the Pumas in middle school. So like on Fridays in middle school, if you wore the little Spirit t-shirt to like have school pride,
Yeah.
then you were allowed to wear jeans.
Okay.
And if you didn't have a Spirit t-shirt, like you got to wear the uniform.
The shorts to
Yeah.
me.
Yeah. No, it was a
Wait,
different,
and what do you think is better?
different life.
The German style, the German way, or the American Mexican way?
Like in Germany, like they can just wear whatever.
Yes.
Oof, it's hard. I mean, I understand the concept or like the thought behind like uniforms in low income areas. I completely get that. But maybe there's another way of like wearing a simple uniform without like assigning it. Like,
Yes.
I don't know, like even maybe someone in a low income environment could wear something similar to the uniform. Like, yeah, the same 3 polos every day.
Yes.
But when I think about that, actually, that's silly because like someone would end up noticing. Kids are fucking mean.
Yeah.
Kids are so mean and would probably say like, oh, he wears the same shirt every 3 days.
Yeah, that's why I actually like to wear a uniform
Yes.
because you didn't have to compare to anybody else. We're all
Exactly.
wearing the same thing.
Well, I love that,
And it
yeah.
was from the same brand because for us it had to be the same polos.
That's
for everybody.
good.
So that was cool. Only Fridays were a little stressful, but everything else was kind of cool.
No, in the grand scheme of things, yeah. If the uniform, if like it's really standardized and you can't be buying all these fancy brands,
Yes,
then I think it serves a great purpose.
I think so too.
And like it relieves the stress off of parents
Yeah.
in general, like to always like be keeping up.
And right now I said the American way. What do you think about people that get angry when you say America and not United States? Like because Latinos, I've heard a lot of them or us
Yeah.
getting annoyed when people call America. They
Yeah.
wanted to be United States
Yeah.
because entire America is like also Mexico, Peru,
Yeah.
everywhere.
I've seen this all over TikTok of like people saying like, you're not from America, like you're from the United States.
Yes.
But like we were like raised differently and
that.
told differently. Like we have songs like I'm proud to be American.
Yeah. And I'm proud to be an
American.
American.
Exactly.
Oh, no.
Like, so like we were raised like thinking like we live in America. We are American. Like we're not United Statesians.
Yes.
Like, but I understand like when people say like, well, America is also like Latin America.
Yes,
Because
that's
everyone,
true.
I mean, to each their own. Like everyone was raised with different school systems. Like
Yeah.
I'm not a hater of theirs. So like I'm just like you do you, I'll do me. I'm
Yes.
trying to like be respectful, but like we were taught differently.
Yes, it's hard to like change it.
Yeah.
Also, how do you call Americans if not Americans? United States citizens? That's so long.
It is.
I have a hard time thinking about it because
is.
sometimes I say America because it just seems faster and
Yeah.
simpler. And sometimes people get angry. And I'm like, oh, sorry. I mean, I know we're also Americans, but it's harsh.
Yeah, it's different. But it's weird. Like, don't you think it would be weird to say like American versus Mexican?
What do you mean?
Like would you ever say like,
if I would call myself
Yeah.
an American, yeah, that would be weird.
right? Because some
Yes.
people say like no, like everyone in like Latin America are also Americans. I'm like, do they really want to say
If
that?
somebody introduces themselves to me and
From
they
Chile?
say, and they say, from America, and I'm like, where? Chile.
Like
I'll
it's
be
not
like,
the first thing. Like so the argument online is kind of funny to me. I mean, nevertheless, like if they want to, like I feel like identity.
I mean,
so
I know
unique.
they are Americans.
Exactly.
Right?
Identity is so unique to people. Like whatever you want to say, like
But
say
we're just
it.
so used to saying America for USA.
Yeah.
Although I do make an effort nowadays. Like, for example, right now that I said it,
Yeah.
I consciously thought about it. And I consciously thought, oh, shit, I said America. I should have said United States. You know what I mean?
We
so
say both.
I do make an effort because I know some people get,
We say both.
yeah, I know some people get offended. And I'm like, if something that I say, like, it doesn't cost me much to say United States or USA.
That's
you
a
know?
cute way of thinking.
So I'm like, doesn't
Yeah.
really bother me that much to change it.
Yeah.
For example, in Mexico, they had the inclusive language, which is like instead of saying él or ella, they say ella.
Yeah.
And now everything is with amigue
Yeah.
instead of amiga. And a lot of people get very annoyed at that. And I think like it doesn't cost me much to just say it. It doesn't also,
Period.
yeah, it doesn't bother me.
Language
either.
also is evolving. It is
Right?
not, language is living and breathing.
Yes.
And it doesn't take much to like, actually just like evolve a little and respect people.
Yeah, it doesn't take anything away from me to say
Right?
United States or to say amigue.
I love that. On the topic of language, I wanted to, go into the next section and ask you, when was, because you spoke about you having an accent and being a little insecure at the beginning about
Yeah.
that, which I was shocked about. When was the first time that someone poked fun at your accent?
The first time, it was actually a cousin of mine.
No, the villain on the inside.
The villain is inside. The house is coming from inside the house. No, the call is coming from inside the house. Yes. Well, I started posting YouTube videos with my husband.
Yeah.
And they were all in English because our native language is English from our relationship.
Yeah.
When we met, we started talking English. So that's how I like to explain to people when they complain about why we speak English. That's our native language from our relationship.
Yeah. You're not trying to be anything else. Or like
No.
be like, oh, a poser. Like that's what you do. Like you speak English every day.
Yes. And we can both speak each other's languages, but it just feels more authentic and natural for us to speak in English.
What a flex. What a
Right.
flex. I love it. You're like, I actually am trilingual.
And deal with it.
I love that though. Like Spanish, English, German.
Yes, but
Epic.
we feel more authentic in English. So when we started our YouTube channel, we wanted to feel authentic. So obviously it was like, it's going to be in English.
Yeah.
And the first videos we started posting, not many people were watching for like 6 months, but my family was. And a cousin, I posted something on Facebook or about the channel, and he left a public comment saying, and you have a cactus on your forehead and you're speaking English. Like
Nopal
el nopal en la cara.
En la cara.
Ajá.
or-
O en la frente.
Frente.
El nopal en la frente.
Which means like you have to explain that to the audience. We have the
It's-
same saying in
Really?
Texas. Yes.
In English or in Spanish?
In Spanish.
Yeah, el nopal en la frente. Which means like you're
You
trying
can't-
to be American.
Yes.
Well, I'm sorry. You're trying to be a U.S. citizen. But like you're trying
But
to
you
hard,
can't deny it.
but you look
but
Mexican
everyone sees the cactus on your forehead.
Yes.
Like you'll
it's like
never.
a little mean.
It's derogatory. It's not nice.
No, it's not nice. It's like telling somebody that grew up in the U.S. but that's Mexican.
Yeah.
Like you're not Mexican enough.
Yeah,
Or,
yeah,
You know,
exactly.
it feels a little weird. And I was not trying to be American either. I'm not trying to prove to anybody that I'm not Mexican. I'm actually
No.
constantly speaking about how I'm Mexican.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah.
So he said that, and I got very bothered because nobody had ever said anything like that to me. And I actually thought people couldn't tell by my accent that I'm Mexican.
Oh, cute. I love
I
that.
was like, my English is
What
so
accent?
American, nobody can tell.
You're like, excuse me?
Yes,
What?
I was like, what do you mean, bro? So then
But I can't believe he wrote a public comment.
he wrote a public comment.
You're
The
like,
hater.
come on, dude. My first hater, and it's my
Yes.
primo.
The little hater.
My cousin.
And he's like 10 years younger than me, so
Oh.
he probably thought it was easy just to write something mean. Or I don't think he even thought it was mean. He just thought it was funny.
He's like, I'm just telling the truth. I'm telling you, the younger generation.
Yes, Gen Zers.
Yeah, they're
ruthless.
Ruthless.
So I don't think I answered to him, but I continued posting. And in between, I got some comments about my accent. And some people were rude. They're like, I can barely understand what she's saying. And I was like,
That's ridiculous. I think I remember you telling me that. And I was just like, that has to be a fucking joke. That's so rude.
Yes.
Like, and I was like, dude, I'm your honorary American friend. And like, I call bullshit.
Yeah.
Like, come on.
They found it very cringy, some people. But I think what I realized is most of them are just self-conscious about their own accents. Because most of them were Mexican, actually. The people that were poking fun at my accent, or Latinos.
Yeah.
That you could tell by their names, by their profile photos, that they were Latinos and they were making fun of how I sound in English. And all the native speakers were actually not bothered at all by my accent. So that was the first time.
Crazy.
And then I decided to like always, how do you say that? I decided to always address it myself before people even think about it. You know, like take ownership of it. Like, yeah, that's my accent and I don't care. And whatever.
No, I love
and
that.
then people, that takes away their power to make fun of it.
Absolutely.
Because I know that I sound Mexican.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not trying to not sound Mexican.
No. And that's part of who you are.
Yeah. Like, and then look at people like Sofia Vergara or like Salma Hayek.
Iconic.
Yeah, they're doing amazing.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's a great inspiration.
One thing's for sure is that an accent is not indicative of someone's knowledge. Intelligence at all. At all. So it's crazy if people were to like, be criticizing you, then it's really coming from inside the house.
Yes.
Yeah, hurt people.
Yeah.
Period.
We've been talking about that.
It's so true. People who are literally like angry about themselves or their lives, like spew that kind of energy, which isn't nice.
And I realized ever since I started dating Janik, my accent got worse.
Really?
Yeah, because I stopped trying. Like when I embraced it the most, I stopped caring that much about how I sound. And I was saying like, I make videos for you. No, I'm a YouTuber.
Cute.
And people couldn't understand. They were like, "You're an Uber driver." YouTuber. What? YouTuber. Oh, okay.
YouTuber.
Yeah, YouTuber.
And then you put your little California girl accent on. Yeah.
But now I embrace it.
Yeah. No, I love that. Like at the end of the day, it is about embracing your culture and knowing like you said, you're not trying to pretend you're not Mexican. It's who you are. It's who like you'll always feel, right?
Yes.
Like even getting German citizenship one day, like you'll still have that identity with you.
Yes. And I'm proud of it.
Yeah. I love that. I want to go now into a bit of holidays in Mexico and ask, what is your favorite holiday to celebrate in Mexico? And do you celebrate it in Germany?
Yes. My favorite holiday is, without a doubt, Day of the Dead.
Really?
Yes. And when I'm in Germany, I make my little altar at home. It's very simple. Like, I don't go crazy with it.
Yeah.
But at least I definitely put photos of my loved ones. I put a little ofrenda there.
Yeah.
A little salt, a little water, candles. Yeah. And it's very sweet. I think it's a very nice way to remember the ones that have passed away.
Absolutely.
And it gives like a little, I don't know, it makes you feel a little better. When you cannot do anything about them being gone, it's the only thing you can do is remember them and like feel proud to have them in your house.
Absolutely. I actually had my first ofrenda like ever,
really?
like 2 years ago, and then I did it again like last year.
In Germany or
yeah,
where?
Here in Germany. And I printed down photos of like my family members who have passed away, like friends, even.
Yes, I included photos of Janik's family members too.
I did that too for like one of Tim's aunts, and for me, like it meant everything. Like actually, like when I saw there's something so small, but the simple act of keeping the spirit alive.
Right.
And like
To celebrate their lives.
remembering like who you come from also, I think is so beautiful. For those who don't know, the holiday Day of the Dead in Spanish is Dia de los Muertos.
Dia de los Muertos is the 2nd of November. The 1st of November is when the kids come, apparently, and the 2nd of November when the adults come.
Yeah.
And we make like altars for them with their photos, with their favorite food.
Yeah, like some fruit or like a beer.
Yes, a beer, always from my grandpa, a beer, a Corona.
Yeah.
and you put, there's several elements that are very traditional where you light up their path or certain cempasúchil flowers, things like that. You could go on and on about the Day of the Day altars because there's different types, but it's very sweet. And one of my favorite things was when I started including Janik in the altar, like the very first time I did it.
Yeah.
I think it's also very special for foreigners that have never really done that.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, wow, this is a very spiritual thing.
Absolutely.
But awesome.
And sharing the culture, I
Yes.
think. And not, I think just like the act of keeping your heritage alive
Right? Yeah.
is like everything.
Yeah.
Of just being like, okay, I'm literally thousands of miles or kilometers away overseas
It
in a
feels-
country that doesn't relate, but I'm still going to do it.
Absolutely. It feels, I have felt it more in Germany than in Mexico because here it feels something so mine,
Yes.
you know, so like I get emotional.
Aw.
Like culture.
Yes.
Why do I cry in every video I
Aw.
make now? This
No,
is how
I
I
love
return
it.
to YouTube.
No, it's a beautiful emotion that like it's something that you can hold on to. Like no matter like if you're gone, it doesn't matter how long you're gone. Like it's your roots and it's who
Yes.
you are. And it's just these little things I think of maintaining who we are while we're abroad that helps us stay sane.
Yes, like a
'Cause
part of
there's
your home.
A part of your home. Like there's so many hard days. I think like when you live in Germany and you're like, what the hell am I doing here? Like, oh my, how did I get here? Or
Yes.
like, oh my gosh, this culture is so different from the one that I grew up with. But then like
Yes.
those little things of holding on, like just feel extra special then.
You know what for me was crazy? Now that we went on our honeymoon, we went to like this epic trip in Asia for like two months. And I've never in my wildest dreams thought I would ever visit Asia. Actually, my dad and I had a joke saying like, oh, we've been to Singapore so many times. We were always joking around about Singapore because it felt like such a different planet that we're never gonna visit it.
Oh, there was like the joke.
Yeah,
And
the
the
joke
family-
was like, oh, remember when we went to Singapore? As if it would be like Mars,
Yeah.
like somewhere we're never gonna go.
Yeah.
And then I was there. And I remember, like, when I look at the altar of Day of the Dead, I look at my grandma, my grandpas from Huasteca, from San Luis Potosí, you know, like indigenous roots.
Yeah.
And you're like, how have I been able to go to like Asia, to like do these things that my ancestors never even thought
Yes.
possible? It's wild.
Yes. Wow. I can completely relate. Like
Right?
when Tim and I, we went to Asia for the first time, I think 2 years ago in Korea. And there was one morning that we went to a temple and I lost it. I literally I was just like crying my eyes out in awe. I was like, I was literally told Tim, I was like, how are we here? Like, why?
Like,
I
what
don't
is
just
little old me
like
doing?
imposter syndrome a bit too, right?
Yes.
Like you think of all those that came before you, your family and like
Yes.
like your roots.
And
you're
even
just
where
like,
you grow up, no?
Yeah.
Like, I remember being in Soledad de Graciano Sanchez, like
Yes.
going to the paleteria to get an ice cream in
Yes.
the corner. And what am I doing here? In
Here.
this complete foreign place.
what am I doing here?
Yes.
Yes, the same. I'm just a little girl from Westlaco, Texas.
Yes.
You like feel like
And
your
then you
inner
go-
child.
Yes, and that's why it makes it so much more special when I go back to Soledad, for
Yes,
example, and
yeah.
I see Don Victor still there in the corner, you know? Like all those people that saw you grow up.
Yeah. Returning, like you have like you have a greater appreciation when you return to your hometown when you've left. And
Yes.
like you're just like, wow, where I come from is special and I'm just so privileged to be able to see the world.
Yes. And but on that note, one question.
Yeah.
I know we're gonna cut
Yeah.
me soon.
No.
But-
We can go on a little. Let's do
One
it.
question. Did you celebrate Cinco de Mayo
No.
in the US?
No.
What? I didn't
No.
expect that answer.
Girl, I mean
Because in the US,
Grandma-
it's a celebration,
my
right?
grandma's from Mexico and like all of my great grandparents are from Mexico. There's no way in hell. No, because like it's
not
so
a thing.
white gentrified in Texas. And I grew up like in South Texas, 10 minutes from the border.
Everything
that,
is
like,
Mexican.
I mean, like that's like a white people's holiday in the US. Cinco de Drinko. That's what they say, Joss. That's what they
Cinco de
say.
Drinko.
And then like it's quite, I mean, disgusting that like they like put on like
Hats
mustache,
and-
like stick-on mustaches and like.
But you know what? We don't really care. I
ponchos.
feel like
Really?
as Mexicans.
I love how
no.
I'm more offended than you are. You're like,
No,
yeah,
true. Like I've actually seen that if I see a foreigner like with a big sombrero and like
Yeah.
a mustache, having the time of their lives,
Yeah.
and like not really making fun of it, but like
I mean, time
like,
and place,
yay,
right? Like
Mexican.
context.
Yeah,
like,
I don't think
matters.
Mexicans are that like sensitive about it.
Yeah.
So
I
like,
mean, it can be in
el
good-
güero, el güero.
Like, yes, like I mean, like if it's just a sombrero, like it can be in good taste.
But if you're a
It
Trump
dep-
supporter and you're celebrating Cinco de Mayo, that's
period.
no.
Exactly. Time and place.
Yes.
If you're a little fucking Trumper
Yes.
and you're like, haha,
Tell me who
Cinco
you
de
voted, and I
Mayo.
tell you if you're allowed to celebrate Cinco de Mayo.
Period. I love that. No, seriously, like it depends. Like there's context. There are like the good. I was gonna say the good whites. That's bad. I'm gonna be canceled. There is like the good gringos
yes.
that like are respectful and
And they're
then-
enjoying the culture and they want to learn more
exactly.
about
Like
it.
it's a fine line of like, is it cultural appreciation or is it just like being ridiculous and
Yes.
like mocking?
Yes, let us know what you think in the comments.
Yes,
For all the
like-
pollinators.
Yeah. Do you think wearing a sombrero and a stick-on mustache
Yes.
is acceptable?
Like tell us your perspective as a Mexican and also as an American.
True.
Because I think Mexicans are less sensitive to that type of stuff.
Yeah.
Quite honestly. Like I that's a thing that I feel often a lot of American citizens. No. United
Yeah.
States citizens.
You can say Americans,
I feel
girl.
like a lot- I
I
feel-
give you permission.
Okay. I feel like a lot of Americans tend to get offended on behalf of other people, which tends to be very good
Yeah.
because they stand up for what they believe is right. But some other cultures are not that bothered. And I feel as a Mexican that most Mexicans don't really care that much. Unless you're a Trump supporter, of course.
Then forget it.
Yeah,
Then
yeah.
forget it. You don't have their support.
Yeah.
I wanted to move now into another section. We're gonna go a little over an hour. That's okay.
Yes.
It's
I
worth
can
it.
be here 5 hours.
Yeah, I love it. We won't be here for 5 hours. Don't worry, y'all. Want to go into superstitions a little bit because I grew up with some in
I'm a
South
little
Texas.
stitious,
Are
yes.
you?
I'm a little
Are you?
stitious.
Good.
Okay, tell me.
Good, because I wanted to say that I grew up with some superstitions in my household. So, for context, I grew up with my 2 brothers, my mom, and my grandma all in one house.
Mm-hmm.
My grandma, who was born in Mexico and came to the U.S. when she was a teenager. I mean, to the U.S., meaning South Texas, 10 minutes from the border.
Yes.
I always tell people she went like, bloop, I made it.
Yeah.
Like, I'm here. Like, literally
I'm not going any
10
further.
minutes from the border in South Texas. It's a, very culturally rich area. And growing up with my abuela, she always like had these different superstitions and things. So I wanted to list a few and ask you if you guys had the same. So first off, like giving ojo,
Yes,
like
el mal de ojo.
the evil eye.
The evil eye is real.
For
I
sure.
feel like it's real as hell, dude.
For sure.
Because my mom swears that
Yeah.
when I was little, a señora gave me the evil eye.
Ooh.
And it's usually when they look at a
Baby.
and
yes.
they don't touch it.
Touch it. But therefore, it's so annoying. Like people who have like babies in South Texas and like they're like at HEB, the grocery store.
You have to touch it.
Oh my gosh, like it's horrible when these like señoras are like touching your child. And it's like, who
Yes,
are
with
you?
their nasty hands after
Who
COVID.
are you?
Yes.
So that's one. Another one was rubbing an egg on
Yes,
us.
la limpia. Yes.
to
It's also
clean,
real.
to cleanse
Also real.
someone.
I come from the most superstitious mother
Really?
ever.
I didn't know that.
Like when they moved to a different praxis, how do you say consultorio in English?
Practice.
Practice.
Yeah.
From the dentistry, you could see my mom in the roof of that house.
Yeah.
Brooming it with a coconut, I think, or a melon, something with a fruit.
Uh-huh.
And she was just
Sweeping.
sweeping the fruit everywhere.
Oh.
And then she swears that after that, because she's sweeping the bad vibes,
Oh.
she couldn't carry it because it was so heavy. Like, I don't know if she could carry it, but like normally it was light.
Yeah.
And after she did all of that, it was like heavy from all the bad vibes.
Ooh.
I wasn't there to verify this.
You like I can't confirm or deny.
But she has interesting stories like that. It could be interesting.
Interesting. Another one was like my grandma saying like sana sana colita de
Si no
rana.
sana hoy, sanará mañana.
So let's translate that.
Okay, that exists in Germany too, though.
Does it?
Yes.
Really? I didn't know
Yes.
that.
They, I think they blow the pain away.
Oh.
Something like if you have something, an agua, because they say, I have an agua, like I have pain.
Yeah.
And then they're like, I don't know how to say it in German, but they say like, I'm going to blow it away. And they do.
Oh, they have a little saying.
Yes.
But the saying is funny in Spanish. in Mexico.
Sana colita de
Colita de
rana. So
rana.
it means heal, frog's tail. It's very witchy.
Yeah, frog's tail or frog's butt.
Frog's butt, frog's ass.
Yeah.
If it doesn't heal today, it will heal tomorrow. That's what it says.
I love it. It's
It
like
was very sweet.
very ritualistic. Yes,
And
true.
I felt instantly better after they did that, like as a kid.
I love it. And then one other one is lighting a candle. I said it's more faith-based, but like my grandma would like light a candle for any intention. But like the big ones.
Yes, like praying kind of.
Yes.
Studio.
Oh yeah. Like for anything, any little thing. She's like, I got my candles. Like,
Really?
I'm gonna light 5 of them for you right now.
Yes. That's sweet.
Was that also a thing for you?
Not really. For my mom, no. But she lights a candle when she's like thinking about a loved one that passed away. She always does that.
Yeah.
And then she would leave it on the whole day unattended.
Ooh.
I'm calling her out. Because what if one day the house burns down?
Yeah.
It's going to be tricky.
That's the German inside of you. Look at you. Look at you. You're like, that's not safe.
Did you read the instructions? It's not the rule.
You're like, that's so German.
Yes.
I love that. Oh, and then lastly, when I was being bad as a little kid, I was told that chupacabra was gonna come and get me.
We didn't have,
No,
the chupacabra exists in like the culture,
Yeah.
Mexican culture, but they told us the ropavejero. It's like this
that?
guy in Mexico that would go through the streets in like smaller colonias.
Yes.
And they're like selling clothes, or they buy clothes from people to resell them. Now there's one that yells at 6 a.m. in the morning in the streets like, se compran lavadora, refrigeradores, like just yelling with a microphone.
Yeah.
So they always said, we're going to give you
He's gonna
to
go
him.
get you.
Like you're gonna go with that guy.
Oh my
That's in the
gosh.
street.
Oh
Yeah.
no, mine was just chupacabra.
Very fear-based, actually.
Yes, true. All of these are like probably like psychologically, like you can trace back like why we are the way we are.
You know what I was thinking? I feel like the Mexican culture, and let me know if I'm wrong in the comments, it's very guilt-based.
True.
Like just because of religion.
Yeah.
First of all.
Absolutely.
But in general, like a lot of guilt
Yeah.
in things going on.
Yeah, absolutely. I
And maybe
agree.
that's why we are the way we are.
in the Tex-Mex
actually.
culture as well.
We also say disculpe for everything. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know. It's a little
Yeah.
interesting.
Like just saying sorry, like being apologetic.
Yes.
In
It's
general,
sorry
like
all the
overly
time.
apologetic.
Yeah.
The Germans can't relate. They're just like, I said what I said.
And you know what? There's another superstition in Mexico. It's called agua de calzón. Do you know it?
No.
Disgusting, dude. You're supposed to take your underwear, put it in water, and make like a little stew with it. You don't boil it or anything. You just like wet the water
Just a
with
room
it.
temp
Like
soup.
dirty underwear, right?
Shut up.
And then the guy is supposed to drink that.
No.
Like a guy that you want to fall in love with you.
Oh. Ooh.
And then he will fall in love with you.
Did you ever hear about anyone actually doing it?
No, ever. Never.
That's
But if
like-
you see a guy that's very in love with your friend, you're like, did you give him agua de calzón?
Ah!
You know, that's like a saying.
I love it. I love
Yes.
it. That's funny.
And something we actually do, I still believe it, is like if there's a wedding or something and you think it might rain,
Yeah.
you bury a knife in the ground.
Oh.
So in my garden, sometimes you see a random knife. It's like my mom put it there because somebody's
Really?
getting married or
Oh,
something's
that's
happening.
sweet. That's so sweet. Like versus like chupacabra, which for context also is like a mythical monster, like creature that's like gonna come and snatch you up
Snatch
if you're
you,
bad.
yes.
But that one's sweet, like about the knife, like
Yes.
being buried.
It's buried in the
So if you
dirt.
see one in your backyard, it's like you know.
Yeah, somebody doesn't want it to rain.
Aw.
Yeah. Is there anything that you believe? Any superstitions that you like
Oof.
really believe?
I don't know. Like in all of these, I definitely like believe in spirits. I would say maybe I'm a bit spiritual. I was raised Catholic as well.
Yes.
I don't consider myself religious anymore.
No, me neither.
But I feel like there are things that we cannot understand, like we cannot explain. So a little like
Destiny
it sounds very
or
witchy.
universe,
It sounds very witchy. Like my mom's so sweet and supportive now. I think like when I first told her that, like it broke her heart, and I understandably like I get it.
Yes.
I was raised Catholic, and it's almost like Germany has tainted me. But
Yeah.
I don't think it's just Germany. I think it's
Growing
a
up.
lot of things. A lot of things has led to like why I'm not religious anymore. Though I respect my mom and her beliefs
Yeah.
as well, and she respects me now. And what's so sweet is that, well, first off, I think it's very sweet in general when people pray for me, like when they say, "I'm gonna pray for you."
Same. I'm very
like,
thankful.
absolutely,
yeah.
absolutely. Even if I don't like necessarily believe in the power of praying within the Catholic
Like
Church
it's
or
gonna
whatever.
do it,
Exactly. I find it incredibly beautiful and thoughtful.
And the good energy is
Yes, because of the energy. So my mom now is like, I'm sending all the good vibes and energy. It's so sweet. Like so sweet. She's like, whatever you believe in, like that's what I'm sending to you.
That's so sweet.
Which is so sweet. And yeah, just a bit different. I know it sounds like so abstract, but yeah, no, I think because I don't follow any like organized religion that I still feel a bit spiritual. I think that there are spirits. And
the vibes,
yeah,
the energy.
my abuelo, like my mom's dad, told like he passed away in the early 2000s and told her that he would come back as a bird. And like now anytime like she sees a bird like hopping around her, she's like, that's my father.
I also believe in that big time.
Yes, me too.
Like my mom also, well, she always, in Mexico, hummingbirds are very related to like souls of people that have passed away in general. And also monarch butterflies too.
Wow.
And suddenly after my grandparents passed away, like there's hummingbirds in our garden all the time.
Wow.
All the time. I always gift her hummingbird jewelry or stuff like that. It's very sweet. And I totally believe in that.
It's beautiful.
Yeah.
No, I think it's something to hold on to.
Yes. Help us cope. And like random superstitions, I feel weird opening an umbrella inside.
Yeah.
That is like something I feel like,
yeah.
I shouldn't be doing this.
That's also a thing in Texas.
And do you feel weird opening one? Nah.
No, I don't give a fuck. I'm like,
I do.
No,
I
really?
Like, this feels so weird.
Oh no.
I maybe would do it, but I know like I just signed
It's because I've tested the waters and I'm like, nothing happened.
So
yeah, the first time you do it, it's gonna be bad.
Yes.
I want to go into like the last little segment of talking about the future and ask you.
Oh God.
I know that you are considering having children one day with your German husband.
Yes.
What is one non-negotiable cultural thing that you'll pass down to your future
They
kids?
definitely have to speak Spanish.
Ooh, yeah.
Absolutely.
I love it.
I have to speak fluent Spanish, and I want them to spend summers in Mexico or winters.
Yeah.
But like I want them to have long stays in Mexico for like an entire month.
Yeah.
Because I do want them to live the Mexican culture, not just visiting, but like to actually live it. This is how it feels to live here for like a month.
Yeah.
And also I'm not close off to having children in Mexico. But if they were to be born in a different country, that would definitely be it.
I love your confidence and like knowing exactly what that would be. I love that.
It's important for me. And I think in my house, I would have a lot of Mexican stuff, like Mexican memorabilia and stuff.
Yeah. And what's one thing that you feel like on your hardest days here in Germany that helps you, keep your culture alive? Whether that may be like a playlist, WhatsApp group, or I don't know, like, certain special song. Like what helps you?
With my culture. Well, I know I can always like grab a phone and call my parents, you know?
Yeah.
But I think for me, probably my friends, because my friend group in Mexico is very strong. Well, not that strong, to be honest. There was a little bit of drama this year. But my relationships with my friends, not within them, but with my friends are very strong.
Yeah.
And I feel like even though they don't keep up with me while I'm in Germany, but every time I'm back in Mexico, it's like I know there's people there for me. I have a big community there.
Yeah.
So that's nice to have. It's like
just a knowing,
just a message away.
Yeah.
Yes, and definitely food. I always buy Mexican food whenever possible. I bring food from Mexico whenever possible.
What do you bring? What's your?
I definitely bring tajin.
Ooh, yeah,
it's a must. Chips, taquis fuego, because they
have them here.
Yeah, but they don't taste the same.
Okay.
Have you tried them?
No, I have not.
They say they have the same packaging, and then it's so disappointing.
They're probably like the healthy version here in Germany.
No, it's like nothing to see, nada que ver, nothing to see with Mexican taquis, and it's so sad and disappointing.
Yeah.
So I bring them from there. I guess the food is definitely one of them.
And lastly, I want to finish off asking you a little reflection. If your 10-year-old self listened to this episode right now, what would make them proud?
She'll be mind blown. Oh, I'm gonna cry. Oh. I hate you. Let me think. Definitely the fact that I went to Asia, she would be like, "What? Rewind that part. What the hell? You went to Singapore, the Mars place that you were always talking about." Yeah. I want to cry. I think she would be proud about my English skills.
Yeah.
Because I struggled learning English.
Yeah.
Not that much because I learned it pretty young, but there was a time that when I failed the same level like 4 times in a row. And my parents continued to sign me up for the same level.
They weren't giving up on
Yes,
you.
they were not giving up. So she was proud of that. Definitely.
I love to hear it. Thank you so, so much, Joss.
Thank you for having me. I love you.
Love you too. Like, it's been such a special hour getting to hear more about your childhood and like share these stories with one another. And I want to ask everyone listening right now, what's one thing that keeps your heritage alive while living abroad? Like what helps you get through it and helps you maintain that part of you and your culture?
Yes.
Yeah.
And go follow me on YouTube.
Please do.
Plug my stuff.
I'm going to put all of her stuff in the description, or I'll put it on the screen here. Please go follow Joss and Janik. They have incredible videos. They're making an epic comeback soon. By the time this is up, I think it'll already be out.
Hopefully.
Yeah. So thank you so much for your time today, Joss.
Thank you for having me. I want to come back.
Yes. You're always welcome here in Munich. Always, always.
Yes.
And until next time, thanks a lot.
Bye. Cheers.
The Pod Abroad's video, audio, and music is produced and edited by Tim Teherne. Make sure to give us a follow and leave a comment if you like this episode.